Hey guys, this is Wayne here with Tri-County Locksmith Service, and today we're going to take a look at installing a full-length ultimate security latch guard. It is from Frontline Defense, and this is the solution to, this is going to be the most important thing you can do for your storefront security. Now, a while ago, a guy online, the lockpicking lawyer, posted a video of his little tool. Basically, it's just a thin little piece of wire like this. It slides in down in here alongside this. It grabs the latch and it allows you to unlock it just like so. Okay, so we have a lot of high security things already in place here, but bypasses like this make the lock obsolete. So what do we have here? We've got first of all, we've got a Schlage Primus locking system here, and a fairly a higher security key, so it's Primus. We've got a locking, a hardened security locking ring here, so you can't take vice grips and apply them to this ring and try and twist the cylinder out of there. That's a really common bypass method as well, so we've got that covered. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be showing you a few of the most common ways to bypass a lock like this, like the one I just showed you. I'm also going to show you an angle grinder. Okay, we've got a little bit of gap right here, so if there's a little bit of gap, we can take our angle grinder, and it's not going to matter what kind of key we have here. Okay, I'm just going to take this, got our safety blade and everything on there. Show you that it is indeed locked. I'm going to bring you over just this way a little bit. This out. Hold on. Okay, so I'm just going to have a little airbag right in here to push this all the way forward, and that way I'll be able to finish cutting the rest of the way through that lock. And there you have it. I just cut through this. It's got a hardened steel piece in here, but that hardened steel piece is no match for an angle grinder. Okay, so I just showed you, even though we have high security locks and we have the higher security ring right here, we still have mechanical bypasses and vulnerabilities for this door. So we're going to fix that today. We're going to put a full-length latch guard on here. It's going to be interlocking like this, and it is going to be ultimately way badass. Let's get started. This is the Frontline Defense 1001 anodized aluminum for outswing doors. Okay, that means you're going to have two pieces. Out of here. And this is going to bolt to the actual door itself, and then this other angle iron piece is going to bolt to this here, and when it closes, these two are going to interlace, and what I just did will no longer be possible, at least not very easily. You're going to have to make a whole lot more of an effort. In fact, I don't think it would actually be possible, simply because you won't have enough depth. You'd have to actually have this open. It's going to create not enough depth, so my saw is not actually going to reach the lock bolt. Okay, you're also not going to be able to see the gap, so you won't be able to time it perfectly. So let's get this thing installed. Alrighty, so we're going to start by taking we're going to have to take all of this off of the door. So we're going to start off by taking the lock cylinders out. This is real world experience where the set screw is not coming out, it's frozen in place, and we have to deal with that. Yeah, we're gonna have to drill that out. This screw is now broken and stripped, so that'll be fun. Okay, we'll show you how to do that then. I guess this will be a really good learning experience today. Alright, Dremel tool with the Carbide tile cutting bit, and I've also got this one here. So Carbide is what's going to drill through that screw. I'm going to try the drill first. If that doesn't work, then we'll move to something different. But we're going to be replacing this anyway, so it's not going to matter. It's not doing it as fast as I want it to. go. Now she's gone. Okay, should be able to key here. Turn it right out. So that's how you deal with one of those. Like I said, we're going to be replacing this anyways, so it's not really going to matter. And here's our Kedex high security hardened ring. These are awesome. You try and get vice grips or something on them. They're hard, so it won't, the metal is as hard or harder than the steel on the vice grips, so you can't get a bite on it to turn it, and it's just going to turn free spin independently of the cylinder, and it's heavy duty enough that it's not going to crush on the cylinder. I'll do a demonstration of this after the fact if you guys want to see that, but this is all about total security on this door. So now that we've got that off, take this side off. So take this off. This off. Okay. So this is your typical inch and an eighth back set, and you can see what we're doing when we access this little piece here. That's what that bypass tool is doing, is it's coming right up in here and it's grabbing a hold of this piece and pulling it down and basically bypassing the lock and key. We're not going to let that happen anymore. Okay? Crescent wrench.
Small crescent wrench makes easy work of this task.
All of these things are actually going to help hold that full-length latch guard in place too. So the cylinder is going to actually be holding it in place. The handle is going to be holding it in place. All of the things that are here are going to be holding it in place. That off. Then we get this bottom one. If you have gear wrenches, they would really help in this situation. They'll make your job faster and easier. I have a set, I just don't have it here with me.
When we go to reapply this, we can either tap and thread, or we can nutsert.
Here, just like so, and set it over there. Now we'll have to drill these nut zerts off of here so that we have a flush surface to actually mount this to. You can see it's going to mount on here just like that. We're going to have to re-drill all of those holes. We're going to have to re-drill this hole here, but that's a good thing, because if somebody comes along and they try and drill the screws or drill the rivets out, they can't have access to this to be able to pull this off. They're not going to be able to pull this piece off of the door. It's going to be really cool and make this door extremely pry resistant. It's going to eliminate almost all the defeat methods that could be attacked through this edge right here. All right, we're going to go ahead and use this unibit and drill these out so that we have a smooth, flat surface. Pops out just like so. Might be a little warm. And then drill this one out. Then I'm actually going to get a drill bit and drill all the way through so that I know where to drill to come back. So that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is when we mount this on here, I'm going to pull the inner bar off here. That's going to give me a hole here. And then down here, I've already that hole that I just drilled through, I'm going to be able to use that as my alignment to drill back through this piece so I know where to drill, okay? That way we'll have the same hole in the same exact spot. We can either tap it and thread it, or we'll probably put a nut zert in there, okay? All right, so now we're going to use the pop rivets and this drill bit right here, along with a pop rivet gun. This is just an easy, cheap one you can get at the hardware store. You can also buy battery-operated ones and other things like that. Just going to take a picture of this here, like so, and then we'll go ahead and what the directions say to do, because it says remove all handles and locks or hardware from the door. So we've already done that. It's already prepped, like so. Then we affix the male plate to the exterior of the door framing with the supplied rivets, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm basically going to fuse them together. I'm going to pull it in place, pull the outer plate off, and then go ahead and drill and bolt this thing on here, or rivet it on. So I'm going to set both of these together like so. Okay. And I'm going to set it like this. Raise it up where I want it. And I want this piece to make sure that it's all the way over to the edge. Okay? Right there. Just like that. Okay? Now that I've got that centered, I take this piece off. I'm going to grab my drill. Pop rivet gun. Fits through. Fits through. Cinch in. And that'll pop out just like that.
If you do a lot of these, they do make an automatic rivet gun that comes cordless, and you could install a bunch of these really fast.
Everything's all nice and lined up down there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get this piece, start bolting it on. I think it takes pop rivets too, and then we'll use the through bolts and bolt it on over here as well.
Having sharp drill bits is definitely going to be in your favor. I always carry brand new bits. It just makes the job that much easier and go that much faster, and it's less fatigue on your body. I include the price of drill bits in the install.
That ought to be good for that. Then we'll do the door side and call it good. So you can get a piece of cardboard, or there is supposed to be like this little stuff here, this little foamy stuff. We can rip this into two different pieces so that it basically what we're doing is we're having it help align the door. So we put this stuff right here. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to give us space. It's going to help us space this on either side of the door. So I'm going to leave that one up there, and then I'm going to do this one down here. And now that's going to help space the door. It's going to help center the. It's going to help center the guard on there. I'm going to get my drill. Just like we did on the other one right there.
Spacing these out nice and even and making sure that they match with everything is going to make a nice, clean looking installation.
It's always good to have a pop rivet gun set. You can always use them. This is the F&L. I'll post a link to this one from Fastenal, I think is where I got it, but it works really good. Cool. Now we can pull this off and then start drilling the through bolts. There are actual through bolts that go on here, like so. So we'll start putting those in next. I'm definitely a proponent of pre-drilling smaller holes. So we're going to start off with this size, and then we're going to move up to the larger size. The 3/8 is what I'm measuring. I didn't actually see a direct measurement size, but I just have my drill bit guide, and that seems to be just slightly bigger than the through bolt. Okay, so we're gonna drill these. We'll just kind of evenly space them. If you want to measure them out, you can. I'm just gonna kind of follow along with the ones we already have on here, and then just kind of split the difference between them. So I've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put in. 5 to put in. Oop, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bolts to put in.
Just in case you're wondering how long the entire installation takes, these can be done in under an hour. I've got them down to about 30 to 45 minutes alone on my own right now. Obviously, this is going to take a little longer explaining everything.
Okay, now we'll jump up to the 3/8. This will be our final drilling.
Again, that stepping up process, starting with a small bit and getting larger slowly, will save your drill bits and your back.
So now we're going to get the through bolts. 6 bolts, through bolts, whatever you want to call them. Okay, you're going to go just like this, and then we're going to put this portion on the inside, round portion on the outside. If you need a double secure system, you can alternate them. If people who shouldn't have access to both sides, let's say a prison, correctional facility, mental institution, or a rehab center, then you can alternate. We do the same with the hinges too. Notice that we're going to go over that with the hinge over here. Okay, that hinge, you can't just peel the cap off and take the bolts off. It's not going to work because the bolts stagger and alternate. You can't do that. So we think of every single thing possible that we know of ways that people try and break into things and come up with a solution for it. So for these, I'm going to put all the round caps on the outside. There's no need for me to alternate here, and we want it to look nice and be uniform because this is literally the entrance to my shop. So this is it. I want it to look pretty and functional.
That 5mm Allen head is the one that fit for me. If I had to do it over again, I would have a bit set up and an impact driver too.
Now, side note, I was using standard US SAE standard Allen head. However, it seems as though this 5mm metric is going to actually fit better. So that's 5mm metric. My other one was stripping, this is not. Okay.
Be careful not to over torque these and warp the door. Because it is a through bolt, you could easily crush the door or make it warped where it doesn't look like a very professional install. However, those through bolts actually make this door look really beefy when done properly from the outside.
So what happened was there's a hold open leg at the bottom, a little foot. I had to take that off in order to get my mounting on, and then we could re-add it later.
Definitely need to make sure you take off all the hardware that could possibly get in your way during this installation.
There we go. In nice and tight. Now we're going to start putting the hardware back on and drilling our holes that need to go through this to start allowing us to mount that hardware back on. Alright, so now we've got our hole dozer, 1.25 inches. So this is 1.25 inches right there. Hole saw, it's a bimetal hole saw. I'll put a link to this down below if you want to purchase this Milwaukee hole saw through the link on Amazon. We have an affiliate link. We get a small commission for it, and we appreciate your support. So now I'm going to be using the existing hole to go through to the other side, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pilot drill out. Here's why. I know I'll be centered if I'm through the hole on the other side, and that'll keep it in place, keep it from jumping around. What'll happen if I don't take the pilot bit out is the drill bit, if I'm not perfectly centered, could drag me off, and then I'll miss my hole and miss my target. So here I'm utilizing what's already available on the door to allow it. So I'm going to take that pilot bit out like so, okay? That way we can drill right through, okay? So now you can see right here, right there on the other side, just like so. And we're through. Okay, now we got our hole back nice and neat right there. Little tip, trick, you can take your razor knife, like so, come back and you can trim all of this hard stuff off of here, okay? You just peel all that stuff right off, just like so, okay? Get all this nasty burrs. If you got a file will work, but I find that just cleans it up really nice. I go through these blades fairly quickly, so I just have a whole case of them, so I'm not worried about ruining the blade. We'll just slap a new one on there. All right, so now we're going to need to drill the hole through and add a nut zert in so that we can reinstall the handle. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it is in fact 1/4 by 20, and that I have a 1/4 by 20 nut zert, which we do, just like so. And then I'll show you this really cool tool used to set the nut setter. Really cool, compact. I also have the drill bit set in here. It's not 3/8. For the ones that I have, it looks like it's 11/32. And you can see that. But I keep it right in here with the tool so that I can grab it whenever I need it. Take that off, put this on. Now the hole that we drilled on the inside, that's going to give me the hole that I need to come back through and out the other side. Just like so. Hold it nice and straight. I can actually feel where I'm in the hole on the other side. There you have it. Now we're through. Okay, now I'm going to grab my tool and my rib nut here.
Making sure that all of your holes are lined up and that this particular installation is nice and level is going to be key to making sure you have a good looking professional installation.
Alright, so now we're going to drill this hole through for the top portion of this. It's not going to go all the way through the door, it's only going to go to right here. Nut zert time. So if you haven't seen one of these before, you can see how it works. Okay, look at that. Comes up, and then as we turn on this, it pulls it back down. So I'm going to thread it back out. And this is the 1/4 by 20. They give you a bunch of different ones right in here. I'll post a link for this down in there too. Go ahead and thread this on. You want to make sure you have quite a few threads through there. Okay. Then you can use your impact driver or whatever you want to set it, okay? Basically, it's just gonna crush this thing. I can show you how it works here. See how you get that wrinkle? That wrinkle is gonna be where the door is, the aluminum in between the two. And then we have threads to go ahead and mount to. So I'm gonna take this one off, and that's what it looks like inside the door. Your aluminum gets pinched in here. So I'm gonna grab one other one, two other ones rather. And pop them in the door.
I cannot tell you how many times these nut zert kits have saved my tail doing storefront work out in the field.
Now I put everything back. And I put the drill bit, because it's a weirdo sized drill bit, 11/32 for the particular nut zerts that I have. Sometimes they're 3/8, sometimes they're 11/32. Put everything back together, put it back in the pack out system. Now I've got it for next time, and it'll be easy to access. Now we can start putting the handle back on the door. Got my 2 screws here.
If you accidentally over-drill the hole for the handle or have to move it in order to remount it, I usually carry washers on the truck just in case. That way you do have a little bit of wiggle room to expand that hole if you need to, or try and Dremel it out and move it down. Hopefully you get it on the first try. The unfortunate thing about nut zerts is once they are installed, they do not move. You cannot move them. They are a permanent solution.
So we've got an 1.1/8" back set hook bolt. This one is from Ilco. You can use whichever brand you want. Hook bolt, here's the part number and stuff off of this one right here. 1.1/8" back set. And then just like the other ones, if you kick this out, it actually has that hooking effect. Therefore, this one needs the hook because it's only so shallow and it grabs up underneath there. So if you try and pry that door away from it, it actually hooks and grabs rather than just pull straight out. It actually pulls the frame with it, but you're not even going to have access to that anymore because of the door, the Frontline defense that we put on there. So let's put this on. Here. Get our screws. Come with these little guys right here. Let's see if we can. There we go. Better. Beautiful.
With everything else that went wrong with this job, I was surprised that the holes didn't strip out, but we got lucky.
Leave it just a little loose so that we can install the cylinder. Just going to give that one a few turns. We'll give the outside one a few turns. We might, because we added a little bit of thickness to it, I think I'm going to have to take this ring out. Okay, so that'll be something you have to remember, is you might need a little bit thicker cylinder, or you may have to take a ring out in order to get it to fit again. Yeah. Beautiful. Tighten up the screws. So that it works. Tighten this one down. So. Now we're going to check for our alignment, make sure that it's aligned right. Beautiful. Very little play in the door, okay, back and forth, but it works nice and smooth. You can do it with one hand. Now, my grinder or any kind of pry bars or anything are not even going to be able to get to the work area. Even if you were to pry this back, you still wouldn't be able to get past the lip into the work area and then try and pry that way. The hook bolt is also hooking into the frame, so if you try to pry, it's going to pull the frame with it. You can't get your saws or any kind of tools or anything in between here, and this is the ultimate setup for storefront security in North America now. So we've seen videos on how to bypass that, we've noticed it as a problem, and now we have a solution through Frontline Defense. For information on all the products you see here, check the link below in the description box. I'll put links to all the different products, and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell, so that way next time we have a video, you can learn how to do these things, improve your security, or if you're a locksmith or technician, you can go out there and add this to your toolbox and make your customers more secure. For more information, check out the website below. All right, so now we've got this door with the complete all the way down, full entire length latch guard on here. I wouldn't even be able to reach the bolt now, because if you see where this meets, okay, it doesn't actually even allow it to reach anymore. You're going to stop here and that's nowhere near where the bolt is actually going to be. So this is no longer an option. Pry bars are no longer an option. Sawzall is no longer an option. You can't even tell exactly where the line is in order to get in. Also, if you take a look over here, because of the interlaced design, even if you could pry some of this back, it's still not going to help you. You still can't get past the inner layer to get into this side. This is why the system is so much better than just a typical flat latch guard. It's 3 bolted all the way through. It's pop riveted on this side. You could add pin and torque, self-tapping screws if you wanted to increase strength. I don't think we're going to have any problem with that. I think people are going to see all of this, and rather than trying to break in here, they're going to go over there, or they're going to go over there. They're going to leave this door alone. Also, if you take a look over here, we've got a continuous hinge mounted on this side. Therefore, they can't just pop hinges off and try and pull it off that way. Even if they could, it still wouldn't work because the hook bolt that we used is going to hook into the frame, and it's not going to allow that to come off of there. So we've addressed the hinge side, we've addressed the lock side, and this door is all but break-in or pry. It's about as break-in and pry resistant as you could get. Now, one more little tip. The big thing is the glass. Of course, they could break the glass. Of course, we have alarm systems and cameras and all of those layers of security that are going to prevent that from happening. However, you could replace this with a product called AR2 polycarbonate, which is a glass substitute, and it's the same thing they make ballistics bulletproof glass out of. It's basically plastic polycarbonate, and you can hit it with a hammer and it will not break. You can shoot at it, and if it's in a thick enough format for that caliber of weapon, it won't penetrate it. So that'll probably be the next thing we do, and then really this door is as good as it's going to be. Short of driving a truck through this, you're not getting in, or you have the key. Thanks for watching. For more information, check out the link below, and check out Frontline Defense, who makes this incredible latch guard system.